Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of Talking with T. This is my podcast segment where myself, guests, and friends will discuss real topics about real life, the obstacles and challenges we face, and how we overcome them. We'll network, pursue our dreams, and continue to evolve as women. Come on in the room and talk with T. So, previously on the first podcast, with Talking with T, I discussed how it was okay to not be okay. And we talked how we navigated through that. I talked about how formerly I was a part of a podcast segment called Conversations with TNT, and it has now evolved into Talking with T. I talked about how I didn't want to do this anymore, but I was in a place in my life where things was just going completely crazy and haywire, and I just wasn't encouraged to do this. Well, women that were a part of the group Conversations with TNT began to reach out to me, and they was asking what was going on with my podcast segment. Where was I? And I didn't realize that I was pouring into their life. So sometimes you are being a blessing to someone and you don't realize it. So one of the ladies that reached out to me is my first guest today, and rightfully so. When she reached out to me, she began to be a blessing to me. She encouraged me to keep going. And just by her telling me what she had been through and how our podcast helped her, it encouraged me to keep going, because it let me know that what we was doing was touching someone, and I knew that it was bigger than me. So with that being said, today my first guest for Talking with T is Kiki Lee, and I like to bring her on so she could share her story, a journey to surrogacy. Welcome, Kiki.
Hey, hi everybody.
Say hi.
Hi.
So Kiki is one of our butterflies, and she began the journey with us a year ago. The butterfly, we adapted the butterfly because butterfly stands for evolution, transformation, renewal, and everything like that. So the butterfly is our symbol here. We are all butterflies. So if you are new here, welcome, butterfly.
Welcome, butterflies. I'm so excited to be here.
We are excited to have you.
Thank you so much. This feels so different, and I'm going to tell you why it feels different.
Wow.
I was used to viewing you and listening to conversation. So now to actually sit here and be a part of something so great, so dynamic, it just goes beyond me. I'm so excited that you made a decision to come back and share your lifestyle with us, and now we have the opportunity to share who we are with other people. So I'm elated, I'm excited.
But it is because of your encouragement that there is a Talking with T. So
I'm excited.
I'm
so
excited for everything that the future holds for, not just for Talking with T, but the growth of all the women that's involved. It's been phenomenal. It hasn't even been a full month right now to date, ladies, but it is moving so fast, and I know that it's by no design, of my own, that it's definitely God that's doing this.
Certainly. So with that being said, now that you have invited God into the room, I would like to, before we start anything, first off, none of this is possible without God.
Absolutely.
So I would like to say a quick little prayer. Lord, let the words of our mouth, the meditation of our heart be acceptable and pleasing to your sight. Lord, let the words that we say on today's podcast touch someone in a way that has never been touched. Lord, that the person that is viewing and watching us, or even listening to our voices, that they see you in an aspect that they have never seen you before because of what we're doing today. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Awesome. So, before, I know that I think that you began following me when I was a guest on someone else's
That's
show
exactly how that happened.
because you liked my hot pink lipstick or something like that. And so you began following me when I was promoting my brand. And then I invited you to be a part of the Conversation with TNT room. And you know, you were an active member of our group. And I was really surprised by that because, you know, a lot of people that were active members in the beginning were our friends.
Okay.
And it just felt good that someone that did not know us really was participating, and you know, you were really active, and I appreciated that and encouraging. So, you know, when we took our break, you know, to go back and do things better or whatever, it just got to the point where real life hit me. Real life hit me, and it happens, and it happened fast, and it hit me hard. And I just, you know, at that time we decided we were going to come back in September. And then for me, I said, nah, I'd rather come back in January at the top of the year. January is much better for me. And some of the ladies started to slide in that DM, and they were like, hey, what's going on with the show? You know, you guys said y'all was coming back. And then, you know, I think it was like maybe, not sure exact time, but I know it was almost near the beginning of the year. And you reached out and you were like, hey, do you still stream your podcast? And I said, right now we're on break, but we'll be back at the beginning of the year. Well, I told you that, but at the time we had no real, anything wasn't set in stone. I hadn't even spoke to my old co-host about when we were coming back for sure. I just knew something came out of my mouth, like, and it wasn't a lie. It was just, that was the intent.
Here's the good thing about that, right? We always try to do life according to our timing, but God's timing is perfect. And here's why I say that. You mentioned starting at the beginning of the year. Now is the better time because we have COVID that's kind of letting up, and people have to learn how to do life again. Mm-hmm. We've been sheltered in the house for 3 years.
Yes.
It's been 3 years. March will make 3 years of COVID.
Wow.
And so you coming out to do a podcast and talking about all these life things and things that people have probably mostly went through during COVID. Mm-hmm. What better time than to do that? Like, we're teaching somebody, like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to live again, to breathe again. Mm-hmm. And so as much as we say, you know, we supposed to start at this, now is the perfect time. And we are just so elated that you are back. Okay. I know I'm one of many. You know, we just had a dynamic, a perfect conversation.
The open discussion
a
was
few
awesome.
nights. Yeah, so
awesome,
guys, if you are not tuning in, I'm asking for you personally. If you want to be spiritually fed in any kind of way, it doesn't come in the form of preaching. It don't even have to be at church. It could be right here in your living room.
It was just a talk, and it was really nice to just, you know, like I said, I share on the podcast, you know, what I had been through when I realized mentally that I was not okay, and how I came out of it, you know, how I made it through. And so I just wanted to hear from the butterflies, how you guys go through things and what you do to navigate through. And you just never know how your story may encourage someone else or who's walking in your shoes now. So you're never alone. So with that being said, I wanted to do a roundtable sort of discussion. So we did that via Zoom, and it just allowed people to open up. And some of my girlfriends that I talk to daily, I didn't realize that they went through it. I hear their stories all the time, but just sitting back at that roundtable discussion, it gave me insight through a different set of eyes.
So let's begin part 2. This will be part 2, right? Mm-hmm. And the time that you came out with, it's not okay to be okay. I'm not okay right now. Like, even sitting here, I look okay, but I'm not okay. And that in itself brings me to talk about my surrogacy journey with you.
Okay.
This is something that I have never ever shared or spoke about publicly. Reasons being is a lot of opinions about surrogacy.
Okay, well, let's stop right there. I want to bring the butterflies up to speed on why we chose to speak about, because your life is dynamic and there are a lot of topics that we could have chose to speak from today. But
layers.
What made me want to talk with you about the surrogacy journey is when you reached out to me and said, you know, what's going on with that podcast. You know, you guys helped me in a way when I was going through my surrogacy journey. And I was like, me? And I was like really amazed that me, and I just kept saying, wow. And I kept looking at the phone and I'm like, this girl is saying this to me. So it really not, I'm not gonna lie, it really knocked my socks off. Like, is she saying this to me? Like, oh wow. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not Oprah. And you know, cause we just started doing it for fun, to be honest. And it was at that moment, Kiki, when you sent me that message, that I realized people are getting something out of this.
Bigger than us.
It's bigger than.
It's definitely bigger than us.
It's bigger than us. So it was at that moment that I realized that some things about the show had to change.
Certainly.
Some things about the show had to change, because when you are pouring into people's lives and, you know, when people are looking to you or looking at you, some things have to change. And I'm fine with that. So I just want you to share, before you go into your story, I want you to share, please, with me and with them, you know, how were you affected by the show? Like, is there, like, what did you get out of the show? What made you stay connected to us all those times that you tuned in?
So one of the things that I liked most about it was the entertainment. You guys made me, even though I wasn't there with you, I felt like I was there with you. It was so inviting. Or any conversations that you guys topics that you guys talked about, it always seemed so inviting and so easy to talk to. Conversations that I wasn't comfortable having with my very own best friends. I was like typing little things like, I cannot believe I'm saying this online to people that I barely know. And so when that comfort set in, that's what made me feel like, okay, this feels good. You know, women empowering women, whether it be about sex, whether it be about different foods, like any topic that you guys was talking about, I was always tuned in. And when I started to tune in, I was like, this makes me feel good. This makes me get out of my head for a second. Whatever I'm dealing with, the depression that I was dealing with at the time, like, it was like I would tune in and watch a show and then I would feel so much better. Didn't matter what you was talking about. A lot of times I would find myself, I ain't gonna lie, I'm from the projects and I can get as ghetto. A lot of times I was watching your show to find I was looking for class. I wanted to learn how to conduct myself as a woman.
Okay.
A lot of times we think that we got that stuff down packed, but you know, you would like to see sometimes what that looked like, even if I've never been one that was interested to be behind the camera.
Okay.
And so I just wanted to know how to conduct myself in class. I seen that you were married and I was a newlywed. Okay. And so it was the way that I was like, I'm now married and I would like to know how wives dress.
Okay.
So it wasn't just about your conversation. It wasn't just about the topic. You know, I would get on there and like, I wonder what she's wearing today.
Okay.
How is she dressing as a wife?
Okay.
Those things aren't taught to me. I don't come from a foundation that has painted the picture of marriage for me. And so I would get on there looking like, you know, like, what's up? What's going on today?
Wow.
So you guys really, you don't know how you affect people until you affect people.
I really did. And I learned a lot just from talking to you and then from talking to some other young ladies that I met through, you know, I'm a hairstylist, and just by meeting some clients who the show was shared with them through their coworkers. And I was like, oh my God, like, this show is being shared, and I really wanted to change the way I presented myself, just because I know that people are now looking at me, and I'm gonna be me. I'm not gonna be anybody but me. I'm gonna be transparent. I'm gonna be raw. I'm gonna be authentic, but at the same time, I do want to be seen decent.
Exactly.
Always. So
Exactly.
I'm glad that you felt comfortable and welcomed, and I'm glad that you felt that transparency from us. So it made you feel comfortable and that you could be transparent.
Certainly.
So now you can be transparent and
Yeah,
you can be as raw as you would like and share your story. So tell us about your journey to surrogacy.
So, first of all, I never imagined that I would even be going through surrogacy. I have a 12-year-old who I conceived from my womb. I was 17 years old.
Okay.
Didn't even know that I could get pregnant. I was 17. I was still in high school. I was in 11th grade. And so I had the decision to do, my mom had gave me an ultimatum, kind of like, you either going to abort and finish school, or you're going to take this baby and finish school. And it never was a second thought about abortion. I just was like, I'm keeping my baby. 17, didn't know what I was talking about. I was like, I'm keeping my baby. And I'm so glad that I made the decision, because the years to follow was not so pretty. And what I mean by that is, me and my husband have been together for 13 years. We have our 12-year-old. And throughout those entire 13 years, I was miscarrying. So I had 12 miscarriages and 1 stillborn.
Wow.
So if you kind of do the math, that would be placing me probably being pregnant every year. I just told y'all we've been together for 13 years.
Yes.
And so I've had 12 miscarriages and 1 stillborn. So my body had been through so much turmoil. I did learn that it could possibly come from the health condition of PCOS.
Okay.
Polycystic ovarian syndrome. I don't know where I developed that at, but I do know that after 17, I started DEPO, birth control. Women, we all know what that is, the shot.
The shot.
I had gained weight rapidly, at a rapid pace.
As did I.
And so, I don't know all the medical terminology and all of that history, but to me, I feel like once I gained that rapid weight quickly out of control, my weight spiraled out of control after my daughter, probably about 6 weeks, and my daughter was about 6 weeks. My weight just spiraled out of control quickly at a fast pace. Somewhere along those lines, I think that I developed PCOS.
Okay.
Right? And so PCOS deals with infertility, is one of the highest symptoms or things that you deal with after, developing PCOS. It's infertility. It is weight gain, not being able to control your metabolism or eating habits and stuff like that. So that was it, right? I just got married 1 year ago. We've been together 13 years, but we've only been married 1 year.
Okay.
And I wanted.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I've always wanted a baby, right? I always wanted more kids. But at some point, I had grown so tired of my body dealing with that much torture. It's like I was tired. I would dread coming on my periods. Like whenever I seen blood, it was like, and it would put me at a depressive state, right? I thought about all these necessary changes that I can make to try producing. I did weight loss surgery. I had weight loss surgery because I knew that weight gain was something that came with PCOS. So I was thinking like, right, maybe if I get slim like how I was in high school when I was 17, if I could try to get my 17-year-old body back, that'll help. So I had weight loss surgery.
Okay.
We tried, nothing. So I was like, okay, this is not working. I never thought about surrogacy until a high school friend had reached out to me randomly in my Facebook Messenger and was like, hey, you know, how's it going? We chit-chatting around, we asking about each other kids, and I'm like, I still got my one from high school and everything. So somehow we got on the topic of me wanting more. Like, I definitely want more, I just can't right now. She mentioned, like, well, you know, I'm a surrogate. I just did surrogacy for this gay couple in New York. And I'm like, what?
Wow.
So when she mentioned that, that made me tap into what surrogacy is. What does that mean? How does that look? What does it cost?
Okay.
And so here is some of the facts that I would like to give about surrogacy. For one, Maryland is a surrogacy-friendly state. The only requirement is that you seek legal aid for parental rights.
Okay.
Just to say that you are mom and he's dead.
Okay.
Okay? Maryland is a friendly, surrogate-friendly state. The second thing is the cost. The cost ranges from $50,000 all the way up to $250,000. It all depends on what is the requirement, what your health needs are. Whether you're gonna do an egg transfer, whether it's just gonna be his sperm and not your egg, and things like that.
So let me ask you, for our viewers, because I'm sure they will be curious. I already asked you. But was the baby that the surrogate carried, was it your egg or was it just your husband's?
So it was my egg. It was IVF. It was egg transfer.
Okay.
So I've never ever had an abortion, but I was told by nurses and practitioners that the egg transfer process feels some sort of like the abortion process. I never had one, so I don't know what that feels like.
Okay.
So I went through egg transfer. My eggs was placed into her, and his sperm, a sample of his sperm, then activated those eggs. The cost also depends on if you want to take things further, like having twins or picking your gender or things like that. So those things definitely add to the cost.
You can pick your gender. You can say, okay, you're gonna carry my baby, and I would like for it to be a boy.
Certainly.
Give me a boy.
Certainly. So science is that updated that you can even pick your gender, or you can say, hey, I want twins, or if twins happen, I'm willing to keep them. So during the surrogacy process, there is a waiver to be signed. Shady Grove Fertility is where I went, right here in Maryland. Look it up, ladies. They have different things that you can do. But one of the things that I really wanted to talk about with doing this is surrogacy is not only needed for monogamous relationships. Mm-hmm. And so, like, you know, gay couples use it all the time. And so,
same gender loving.
Exactly. Love is love. So, there is a waiver that you sign about, you know, hey, if twins happen, would you like, you know, to move forward with twins? Of course, that adds a cost to that tab. But no, I was not for twins. I just knew I wanted a boy. I already got my 12-year-old. I was just such a boy thing, right?
Okay.
And so
did your husband absolutely want a boy?
Oh yeah, certainly. I wanted a boy. We already got our 12-year-old girl, and so having a boy was just like the ultimatum. Like that's what we doing.
Okay.
And no ultimatums. We going.
But with the way science is set up, you guys got to.
We got to have our boy.
Okay.
So when you think about planning a pregnancy, you think that it's gonna be so joyous. You think that it's gonna be so happy. You know. But we planning our pregnancy. What could possibly be wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Like, we doing what we asked for, versus you being 17 and pregnant and not asking for it, but having to deal with it.
Right.
But this was a choice that we made together, and so now, I was so caught up on I wouldn't say the glitz and glam, but the whole picture of it. Like, we got a baby.
The white picket fence and a dog.
We got the baby. Let's do this. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's do this. We got the money. So I had no idea the mental part of it would be so drastic. And what I mean by that is when you think about pregnancy and bonding with your child, you do that starts off in the womb.
Okay.
You get to know your baby through the womb. Your baby gets familiar with your voice, your touch, the sounds that they hear.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, someone else carrying that, and so I don't have that. I never even felt my son kick. I don't know what his sleep schedule is like. We learn, baby and parent starts to learn each other through the womb. I'm on his time schedule when he's up, or she's on my time schedule when, you know what I mean? When I'm, so I didn't get to experience that. All those cravings and stuff that makes your pregnancy a pregnancy, I didn't get to experience that. And so after a while, that started weighing heavy on my mental.
Okay.
Heavy on my mental, because it's like, I'm expecting, but am I really expecting?
So did it make you feel slighted as a mom?
I definitely felt slighted as a mother. I felt broken in the sense like, damn, I have to, somebody else got to do what I can't do for my husband. Like we're married now.
So it made you feel less than a woman?
Definitely made me feel less than a woman. I just went through so many emotions that I didn't think that I would have. The blessing in all of this is having a surrogate as a friend, as a sister friend.
I was about to say, did you go with
So
that girl? Did you guys decide to go with your friend from school, or you chose someone else?
We did decide to go with my friend from high school.
Okay.
One of the blessings with that was the cost. It wasn't so much, because you got to remember, we don't only have to pay for medical costs, but we have to pay this person that's going to be carrying.
Absolutely.
They carrying somebody for you for 9 months. That's heavy.
Yeah.
They want to be compensated for that. And so that cost for us was kind of split in half, because I knew her for so long. And I thought that because I knew her, that I wouldn't have the emotions that I was having. But I will say, because she was my friend, she was so welcoming, she was so understanding. I could call whenever I wanted to call. I could come by whenever I wanted to come by, drop in. We had gotten to a point where I would go and stay the night. Like,
really?
I wanna see what he does at night. Like,
oh,
so
wow.
it had gotten to a point after I was honest with her. I was like, well, I don't feel connected and stuff like that. And she was like, well, why don't you start coming to stay the night? And when she said that, I was like, ooh, this feels a little bit better. But it didn't. That didn't get better for me. It was like I was staying the night, and here I am watching or looking at a woman carry what belongs to me. That was hard. That was hard to do at night. And I thought I would be like so peaceful and sleeping. I wasn't. I was like up just watching, like, wow, like this belongs to me, but I don't have it.
So once the baby came, did any bonding start to take place?
So bonding, my son now is 3 months.
He's 3 months right
It's
now.
3 months today.
Okay.
And bonding has not set in yet for me.
Wow.
I thought that things would change once he got here, because I was just listening to everybody whenever I would say, okay, I'm having a baby, but like I don't feel so connected. People like, oh girl, that'll be fine when you get here. You be alright. You be alright. November 1st, delivery day.
Okay.
Right? I had so many emotions. I didn't know how to feel. We were able to be in a room. I was able to cut the cord.
Okay.
I cut the umbilical cord, and I will upload pictures and stuff like that, videos and stuff you guys can watch later. I was able to be a part of that whole process. Somewhere along that line, there was still a disconnect. It was like I felt like he had to learn me, and I had to learn him. And he's 3 months now, and we're still getting to know each other. Somewhere that the idea of me not carrying him sticks with me. Because it's like, this is my baby, but he feels so borrowed.
Does he cry for you, or does he?
He does. He recognizes who I am. He knows who I am. He knows my voice. But mentally, I'm not there yet.
Okay. So would you say the disconnect is more you, or?
It's definitely more me.
Okay.
And here's what I've realized that was. I did not know, I had no idea that I had to be worried about postpartum depression. Because when you think about postpartum depression, you just think that it's just gonna come from the person that's being pregnant.
Okay.
I was expecting my surrogate to be postpartum, not me. I didn't carry it. I don't have no pregnancy hormones. I don't have a chemical imbalance that's happening in my body.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I be postpartum?
Right.
It wasn't until, so our surrogate still plays a part. Here's how. I went back to work. She was still on 6-week maternity leave from her job. And so she was babysitting for us. My husband's a truck driver, and I am a direct support professional, life skills coach. So I had to go back to work. You know, realistically, Maryland, if you ain't pregnant, they don't
give you the time off.
The maternity leave.
Right.
They'll give you days off, but legally, that's not a thing of employment right now.
Okay.
So I had to go back to work. And my surrogate, who is my friend, was so willing and like, okay, you know, I'm home, just bring them to me. It wasn't until I noticed that I was dealing with postpartum depression when I realized that I just was so okay with just sending him off to her.
How'd you notice? How did you recognize that you had postpartum?
I would kind of be distant away from him a little bit. My husband had this crazy bond with him, this connection. He just feel it. Like, and I would look at them like, I don't feel that. Like, how do you not feel like, you know, I'm your wife. You didn't see me pregnant. Like, how do you just bond? Like, you know, that's when I began to notice that something is wrong. Something's wrong. And so when I started doing my own research, I noticed that I was suffering postpartum depression.
Wow.
I was suffering postpartum depression, and it's normal. New moms go through it all the time. But I had no idea that being a surrogate, doing surrogacy, that I would experience that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so here is how I'm coping today. I carry something of my son's, like wherever I go.
Okay.
Because, and here's why I do that. There were times where people, like coworkers or whoever, know I just had a baby, be like, how's the kids? And I'm like, oh, she fine, referring to my 12-year-old and not really referring to my son. People were saying like, how's your kid? That is also how I knew that, okay, this is not good. Like, I'm really not okay. People was like, how's your kids? And I'm like, she fine, talking about my daughter, never really mentioning anything about my son. And so wherever I go, whether it's a pamper, whether it's a pacifier, whether it's...
Is that because you have to remind yourself?
It's not just about, it's kind of sort of a reminder, but this is like, hey, you're a new mom, own that. You're a new mom, this is new, own it. So that is where I am with it. Not only is it a reminder, but it helps me feel bonded to him in some kind of way. Like, okay, you know, I have a baby. This is my son.
Okay.
You know, so it's helping, and I'm getting through it. He's only 3 months. We still got a long way to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just been a journey. And so I just want to say that surrogacy is a joyous thing, but don't be so blindsided about the depression and postpartum feelings and baby blues, things that could take place. It's life. It happens. Don't be so Don't disregard that could happen. It's a joyous thing. It's a wonderful thing. We planned it. I wanted to happen. I'm happy that my husband wanted it. You know, he's so excited, and so seeing that excitement in him makes me want to fix it, or makes me want to get excited about it.
Are you in therapy, or are you?
So I am taking therapy. I wasn't always open to therapy. I come from a religious, traditional family.
Mm-hmm.
What happens in my household stays in my household. Mm-hmm. One of them type of things. And so therapy was like a no for me. Like, if I go to therapy, I gotta tell him my business. So I gotta start somewhere. And that is exactly what therapy is. You recognize and you realize issues that you don't even know still exist from childhood. Mm-hmm. And so you gotta open up with that, because perhaps how I am with my son has something to do with how my upbringing or what happened to me as a kid. And so therapy helps us recognize those things. So be okay with therapy, certainly.
Well, you know, I speak about therapy all the time, and how it's, for me, it's great. I mean, you know, currently I am not currently going, but the things that I learned in therapy have helped me to get to this point where I can navigate through life. And I told you, it got pretty crazy. It gets pretty rough, you know. Just like you, I come from a Christian background where all you need is God. You pray about it, you know. So it's that. But therapy is great, because it helps you to see yourself outside of yourself. It helps you to see other options and other aspects of this life, and different ways you can work through things, as opposed to just, you know, of course God is our number one go-to, but then there are other options and different ways to handle things. So, you know, hopefully you will.
It's getting there, you know. One of the things that I appreciate about my therapist so much is my son is a part of my therapy sessions.
Really?
Because if you think about it, your children feel what you feel. So me feeling that way, he could feel the distance that I probably have towards him.
Well, that
so
was my purpose for asking you, like,
that then will have to
about the disconnect.
That then will have, he needs now therapy.
Okay.
You know, because
I was
it's like,
wondering how he responds to all this.
yeah.
Like,
So he's a part of my therapy sessions with me. My therapists have developed so many exercises, even bonding exercises that we do in our therapy sessions and stuff like that.
Because at 3 months, how would that help him? Just so she showed you how to bond with him.
With
okay.
him, exactly.
Great. So he won't feel that disconnect at all.
He doesn't feel it. So my 12-year-old has no problem. Like, she's just like, dad and her is fine. It was just me. Mm-hmm. It was just me being a mom.
Okay.
So again, do I recommend surrogacy? Yeah, of course. If that's what you guys as a couple decide that you want to get into. Mm-hmm. But do research as much as possible. Think about the feelings and emotions that may come behind all of this. I had no idea that this would hit me. I thought that I would just be so joyous and so excited about it.
I remember seeing your Facebook posts, and you were at one point you were so excited.
I was elated.
So to hear that, you know, you were going through these after that fourth, you know, trimester emotions, you know, I'm praying that you navigate.
So you are a hairstylist, a beautician. Mm-hmm. You know hands-on that when women go through things, what's the first thing that we do? We do something with our hair.
Drastic.
Whether it be cut it, whether it be dye it. Yeah. It's just something, you're just looking for a drastic change. So mm-hmm. I went through that. I went through a phase where I've never worn an exotic color hair. Okay. Right? And so when I recognized that I was feeling all this stuff about my son, I woke up one morning and was like, I need blue hair. I need blue hair.
Because blue is for boys?
I need blue hair. Blue hair signifies that I'm a boy mom. I need blue hair. And so I went and I purchased this beautiful blue blunt. That is the wig that you guys will probably see
on the promo flyer.
For this
book.
That wig gave me life, okay? I felt some way, I don't know, it probably don't make sense to you, but it makes perfect sense to me. I felt connected to my son.
Okay.
I felt like a boy mom. And so I'm constantly doing things to make, I wore blue today. I'm a boy mom. So I'm constantly doing things to make me feel so excited about being a boy mom, like, because he's mine, he's my son.
Mm-hmm.
And so I gotta be comfortable in that. I gotta sit with that. It doesn't mean just because he's not mine, I didn't carry him, doesn't mean that he's not mine.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, so that's it. Like, that's been a journey. I'm still a work in progress. But
well,
that's
I'm
been
glad
it.
that the group has been able to encourage you to, get therapy or consider it, and I'm glad that you were active and a part of the group at a time where you were going through some things and you was able to tap into our conversations and just get the support that you needed, that we didn't even know you needed at the time. But if ever you need support, we are here for you. I'm just a call away. And like Kiki, if any of you ever need any support, just reach out. That's what we are here for, Butterflies. We're here to support each other, So if any of you ladies are considering doing surrogacy, I hope that today's episode of Talking with T shed some light on your questions or gave you some more insight. And like Kiki said, just do your research. And maybe if you need some more information, then
I am one Facebook message away. You can find me at Facebook at Kiki Lee. Kiki Lee, Keekee, Lee, Lee. Kiki Lee. Message me. I'm an open book. Whatever questions or concerns that you may have about the process, about the legal part, I am an open book. I do not mind sharing that information. And I wasn't always like this, but if my destiny, if I'm put on earth to help the next, then I'm all for it. So
even some ladies might even have some questions about, the PCOS, because a lot of ladies do suffer with PCOS. There are some things, some questions that some ladies might have about your journey with that, So maybe what I might do is we might do a roundtable open discussion in the group with that. So I may just go ahead and set that up very soon.
I'm open to it.
We could do that as well.
I'm open to that.
With that being said, ladies, as always, it's been real. I appreciate today's guest, Kiki Lee, coming in and sharing her journey. And I appreciate you all for tuning in. And we'll see you soon on the next segment of Talking with T.
Until next time, Butterflies.
Peace.
Bye.